Greetings and salutations, listeners, Russian bots, and aliens tuning in from far off planets. Welcome into today's show. I'm so happy that you are here, especially the Russians. John and I had a great time recording this. The first segment is a wild mess. We had some video issues, but we had some fun. This recording took 2 hours to give you just under an hour of content. So I hope that you enjoy it. If you do, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps us out, whether you are on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Hit subscribe. It'd be really, really, really kind of you. Thanks a lot. Enjoy today's show. What's up? And welcome to Forte Catholic. I am Taylor Schroll. That is Jonathan Bearded Blevins. And we had our New Year celebration last week, but this is our first show that we are actually recording within the new year. So happy 2021, everyone. Welcome to the year that isn't terrible yet.
Happy New Year.
Should old acquaintance be forgot?
What does that mean?
It means that if you have friends that aren't very close to you, you should forget them every January 1st.
Is that really a line?
It's really a line. I don't think that's what it means.
Oh. I don't know it.
Should old acquaintance be forgot? Blah, 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 blah.
What does old lang syne mean?
I do not know.
Okay.
I saw a meme about it the other day, and now I can't remember it. Anyway, welcome into Forte Catholic.
We're really smart.
Where John and I have just been chatting for 30 minutes, and it just bled right into the beginning of the show. We were like, hey, we're going to start the show now. I'm Taylor Schroll, and I think I've said that already, but you know what, Jonathan? You know what I've been doing the last 2 days?
Sleeping.
I wish. I've been having a lot of trouble sleeping because it's one of those weird things where, like, it's allergy and cold season. Which
in
is
Texas?
Yeah, for sure.
Are you allergic to sand?
I'm allergic to
cacti,
coarse and rough. I hate sand
and cowboy hats.
So, no, like we live in a swamp and it's moldy and mildewy, and that's all the things I'm allergic to. I don't know if you've heard this, John, but I'm allergic to everything inside and outside. So, like, I've always
told me that before.
Yeah. So I have bad allergies, and this is like the time of year where I'll get like sinus infections or just like colds or whatever all throughout the like colder season, which is like your summer, but whatever. But the last 2 days I've been just hunkering down and sitting here because it's one of those things where it's like, hey, if you have allergies and cold, it's all the same symptoms as that COVID thing that we've all been hearing about. But I get them all the time. So like for me, waking up with my uvula laying down on my tongue like it's taking a nap, like that's normal for me. So the last 2 days, like I woke up just a few hours ago, my uvula was like made a 90-degree angle on my tongue. So, but here's the thing, John, like a lot of people are new to this new type of sickness and that sort of thing. I've been doing this since I was a wee lad. So I had like a nose ring with essential oils in my nose this morning that my wife gave me. I did the neti pot. Have we talked about neti pots before? Are you a neti pot?
We have not. I've done it one time, and when I used a neti pot one time, it must have been 10 years ago. I was dating my wife, and I called her to tell her I was going to do it because I was sick and I was at a friend's house. And the friend's house I was at, she was all into it. She's like, "Oh, you're gonna feel so much better." And my wife, girlfriend at the time, was like, "You could die. You could die. It could go through your brain. You could die. Don't do it." And I was very terrified. So I did it, but I don't think I've ever done it again because I think you can die. Is that true?
It's definitely not true. Like it wouldn't be doctor recommended if you could die.
So it is, but I never had it recommended by a doctor. It just seemed like this, like, I don't know. It seemed like this kind of witch doctor thing to do.
No, it's medical MDs. I think M stands
That's
for
where
medical.
you shoot water up one side of your nose and it comes out to the other side. That's messed up, dude.
And
it felt
clears
so
out
weird.
everything in the middle, and it feels so good. So, like, John, when I woke up this morning, this is like I mean, you whenever the world was open, you used to travel and speak all the time. I'm surprised you don't know this, but maybe it's a singer thing too. Like, I can wake up feeling absolutely terrible and completely get through. Like, I woke up 3.5 hours before, and like I had 18 rings under my eyes, and my eyes looked like I got in a fight and got 2 black eyes. You should have seen the other guy in this pretend situation. And I used my neti pot. I had all the nasal sprays and all this stuff. And now look, John, I look almost alive.
I think you actually look great. I was going to say that. So this is my neti pot.
It's a Bang energy drink.
Yeah.
John forgets that this is a
I do.
podcast and radio medium for
I see.
most of our listeners.
I don't forget what I just think that when you and I are doing the show together, I feel like almost everybody watches on YouTube because we're so handsome.
That's not the case at all. And actually, when it comes to YouTube, of the 4 co-hosts, I think yours are the least viewed. So that backfired your comment very quickly.
That hurts. That one hurts. I should retweet them more.
You know, it's number one is always Anthony, and I think it's because Father Anthony. For those who care, he's my friend. I'll call him what I want. It's always him. I think because he's an enigma now and doesn't exist on the internet for most people.
Yes.
So they like him. It's not because he looks. I mean, he does look like a pretty woman most days, but that's a whole nother thing.
Yes, he does.
And then it's the ladies, and then it's you. So sorry that your comment backfired.
I plan on changing that in 2021.
Well, everyone plans on changing everything in 2021, and you're like, it's going to be worse. And I'm like, it's not going to be worse, John. It's just going to be the same.
I don't think it's going to be worse for you and I particularly, but I think as a world, it could be worse.
Well, Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
New beginnings. Well, okay, so before we talk about New Year things, we did our Christmas show 2 weeks ago. We did our New Year's show last week. But like I said, this is the first one that we're doing here in the new year. And I haven't talked to you yet about Christmas and New Year's. I saw pictures and you all did like, I think, did I remember correctly that y'all did like the matching pajamas thing?
See, I think you're remembering that I told you that's what we do. But this year, the pajamas didn't show up. In true COVID 2020 fashion, the pajamas that my wife ordered for our whole family 3 months before Christmas never showed up.
Wonderful.
So yeah, we didn't wear
for you guys.
What's that?
It ruined Christmas for you guys.
She was very upset. I was shocked at how upset she was. I was like, it's not a big deal. It's just pajamas. She's like, it's not about that.
Oh,
internal temp high, allowed to cool.
I disappeared for a moment. I'm back now. Wait, where did I go?
It literally just said that you were too good looking and that it had to cool off. That is like, did you plan that?
I did. That was perfect timing.
That was horrible timing. That was amazing.
Wait, what happened?
I don't know. It said that you were too hot and it needed to cool. That is what it said. For those listening, Taylor disappeared. He might edit this out, but he shouldn't because it just proves how handsome he is.
Go for it.
All right. Yeah, so I don't understand why she was so upset about Christmas pajamas, but that's okay. They never showed up. And so we normally put the pajamas on and then after Mass, and then we make homemade pizza and homemade cheese bread and watch a movie with the kids. And then we put the presents under the tree and all that kind of stuff. So we did all of that without the Christmas pajamas. We used last year's Christmas pajamas instead. But you didn't see a picture. I don't know. Who knows, man? But it was great.
Can't wear the same thing twice in 2 years.
I know. They never fit right. Like, I don't know if you guys do Christmas pajamas, but they're just giant. I mean, they're huge.
Nothing fits giant on me, Jonathan.
That's usually not me either. It was wild. So I'm kind of glad that it didn't show up, but sad for Jody, of course, because I'm a good husband.
Yeah. Wink, wink, wink to all of that. All of that sentence.
I'm a horrible winker.
Are you really?
Yeah, it's embarrassing. I can only wink with my left eye, and I always feel like I have to. Never mind.
Okay, so this isn't what we planned on talking about. We planned on talking about Christmas. And boy, the transition was interesting. But you not winking, and I've never pictured you in high school. Now I've seen pictures of you in high school, but like how you interacted, like not being able to wink. Like, were you a smooth person? Like, you were talking about your wife, and we were talking about not being able to wink. Like, were you smooth with the ladies, or was it a slog?
No, I was very smooth. I was very, very smooth.
So what happened?
I was also very cheesy. No, but you don't have to wink to be smooth. Like, it's just an aspect of it. You know? That was nice. That was nice.
You want to hear what's funny? We're talking about the reason I'm asking is because I realized that this is only for the people watching on YouTube. I winked during every commercial last week, not planning on it, but I was just in a winky mood, I guess.
See, I've never been in a winky mood. That's amazing.
And I realized it after, and I hated myself for it. Okay, so you were smooth with the ladies. You didn't have Christmas pajamas. You got a wife out of it, and you made her sad on Christmas. So anything else to report over Christmas and New Year's Eve?
No, it's great. My parents moved back, so I got to see them on Christmas Day. So we had we had filet mignon, I think, and crab legs. It was an incredible dinner. Listened to some music and stayed over there. So that was great. And the kids got to open more presents. So A beautiful Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, my friend. What about you?
That's good. Yeah. So I posted a video of the Christmas presents that we found under my parents' Christmas tree when we got there, and it was just like covered like our entire upstairs at the house I grew up in.
Oh
I was
my
like,
goodness.
so many presents for these kids. It was unbelievable.
How many Legos have you stepped on since then?
None. We did need to argue about this. We had this whole argument about, what did you say was better than stepping on Legos? Wet Cheerios?
It's just okay. We're doing this.
Apparently, because nothing, like, why do anything we planned today, John?
I said that it is better. I'd rather step on, me personally, I would rather step on a Cheerio than a Lego, because pain is temporary. But when you crunch a Cheerio and it's all over your feet and then all over the floor, and then you have to wipe it off your feet and then get a vacuum out, like, it's ridiculous. By the time you're done with that, the Lego pain goes away. And so I would rather step on a Lego than a Cheerio.
Do you have a Roomba?
I do not have a Roomba, but my wife would like to buy one.
Well, therein lies your problem, because you're an insane person. Because if you step on a Cheerio, I step on food all the time. That's my kids. All you have to do is wipe your foot off on the ground, and Roomba will pick it up later. A Lego is searing pain, especially for someone who had plantar fasciitis for years, and it felt like I was stepping on a Lego every time I took a step.
This has been so fun. I love this first segment. I don't know if anyone else says, but let me just say, I don't know what a uvula is. I also don't know what plantar fasciitis is. I feel very stupid today.
Well, what's new?
Well, very dumb today. But stepping on, dude, I'm a clean freak. I don't know if you know that about me. I'm a very big. Look at my stream room, dude. Most stream rooms probably don't look this like this.
There's trash all behind you, John. You got
That's
the
not trash.
Lions. You've got Detroit.
Wow. I walked right into that one.
You sure did.
Softball, right up the middle of the plate. Is that what baseball is?
That is what baseball is. The uvula is the dangly thing in your throat.
Okay.
So
the thing that's what Cardi B was talking about in her song.
Not on your tongue. It was laying on my tongue. Plantar fasciitis is what happens when you're too fat for your body and your feet that are supposed to be arched start falling down and crushing.
Okay. Oh, wow.
And so there's searing pain from the fascia, which is like between your skin and your muscles. Okay. And that gets really tight. And whenever you step down, it stretches out and it hurts like stepping on a Lego over and over and over again.
So the word planter, but that's used for warts too and feet. So is it because our feet are planted in the ground? Is that why?
100%.
I feel now I'm smart.
I had to give you one.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, anyway, back to Christmas. This is John.
Christmas.
Last month we had our most you were like, hey, this is the most scripted we've ever been. I feel like this is the least scripted we've ever been. So let's get back to my notes, shall we?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so a couple weeks ago, on the show, I was sharing about how I tried to go to my home parish for Christmas, or for Mass, a few weeks before Christmas, and I went to the 11 o'clock Mass, which I went to every Sunday for like 20 years of my life, and I showed up at the 11 o'clock Mass that they had moved to 10 without telling me. And I didn't go to Mass because that was the last Mass of the day.
Wow.
Hooray. So I knew that it was at 10 this time. So I went back to my home parish. I did it, guys. We were wondering if I was going to make it to Mass the Sunday after Christmas. And I did. So I went to my home parish, and I heard it was cool. It was cool just to be back in the place where I started loving Jesus and started caring about the church, started caring about my faith. It was just good to be back in that environment. I did notice, you know how you said you were feeling dumb today? I felt really dumb that day because I have been in this church literally hundreds, if not in the thousands of times that I've been to this church because where I grew up.
Yep.
And there's this stained glass window up in the top, and there's two fish that cross and make a little basket. And then have you seen something like this before in stained glass?
I think so. It's like the fish in the loaves.
Yeah. Well, I just realized it was the loaves this past weekend.
That's awesome.
Going there for over 1,000 times. I was like, oh, why is there a fish basket with these strange rocks in them?
Who's dumb now?
And then I was like, oh, there's 5 of them. Those are the 5 loaves. And that's what I learned during the homily by staring at the stained glass.
That's awesome.
We got to the end, and boy, am I glad that I went to my home parish for Mass, because apparently no one else notices. It's one of those things that I talked about I've talked about on the show before, where I hear things in mass that I think people aren't paying attention. And it's not like I'm the most like pay attention person ever. I've got ADD and I'm all over the place too.
You literally just proved that.
Yeah, I mean, literally, this entire segment has just been our ADD acting together.
You're like, I'm looking up during the homily.
Right, exactly. But no one else seemed to flinch. You know how there's the point in the mass, it's in the Eucharistic prayer, where the priest is like saying words or something, and then he lifts up his hands, or he's lifting up his hands, and I remember that he brings his hands down into like a prayer position.
Yeah.
Because he's like, and today's mass is celebrated for or those who have departed recently. And then he holds his hands like prayers, and he looks down at the book and he reads off like the names of whoever the mass is being said for. You know what I'm talking about? Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They're not supposed to do that, but yeah.
We got to this point in the mass, and I hear that the mass is being said for Jon Bon Jovi. And I look around immediately. I'm going back and forth.
No shot.
And like, I'm looking across. No one's reacting in this church. And I'm like, are y'all all tuned out because it's the same words? Other than these names, all this other prayers are the same stuff we hear every weekend. Are y'all tuned out so much? Like, I asked my friends after it, who I saw. It's nice to reminisce and see old friends. Did y'all hear that? They're like, Jon Bon Jovi, huh? And they're like, what? And I'm like, he was part of our mass. Like,
what? Was he there?
No, he wasn't there. It's a small town in southern Texas. No, like it's apparently someone who, like, here it was even worded strange. It was like, in loving memory of so and so and Jon Bon Jovi. So I'm like, I literally pulled out my phone, which you're not supposed to do, but I pulled out my phone. I'm like, did Jon Bon Jovi die? Like, I had to know this information immediately.
Yeah,
he's not dead. So I was like, maybe there's a comma in there that was important. And maybe it was like in loving memory of this person and also for the intentions of Jon Bon Jovi. I had no idea what was going on, John.
Maybe someone was named after Jon Bon Jovi and died before he did.
I don't know. And here's the thing. It's like I was talking to my wife after, and she heard it for sure because she heard me chuckling. And then just like, you know how you can like replay things that just happen in your mind. Yeah. Like, why is Taylor laughing? Like, that's just her life most of the time. And so she's gotten pretty good at it. But we're driving in the car and I'm having her look it up. And she's like, well, we look up that Jon Bon Jovi, the one that we all know, his actual name is John, John, Bon Jovi. It's like Bongiovani or what, something like that. Like it's an actual last name.
Okay.
Jon Bon Jovi. I guess it's Italian. I don't know.
Sure.
And so, and then then I'm like, okay, I have to figure out what's going on. Is this the same person or is this some other guy named this? So then I go and I look up Jon Bon Jovi on Wikipedia, and I find out that his real name is Jon Bon Jovi, spelled the exact same. So I go to the parish's website, I pull up the online bulletin. It's spelled the exact same way as Jon Bon Jovi's actual name is spelled. So either there was someone in this parish whose name was Jon Bon Jovi, and I didn't know it for the last 30 years, or we prayed for the singer who's a fallen away Catholic during Mass, and I'm not sure which happened.
I like to think that it was both. That's amazing. That's amazing. I had a priest friend once who was reading the intentions for Mass, and it was for someone who died in what's that show everyone loves in England?
The one where they're all butlers and slaves.
Yeah. That one. Someone I guess died in that show, and they were like, for the repose of the soul of, and he had to go up to the person who writes the intentions after me. We can't pray for fake people. That person, it was a very sad episode because he watched it too, I guess. He's like, but we can't be praying for people from, what's the show? It's gonna kill me.
I don't know. I'm thinking of all the British shows. My wife, Downton Abbey.
Downton Abbey, thank you.
The Abbey that is downtown.
Abbey. Nothing is more embarrassing than saying Downtown Abbey when you're trying to talk about something you don't know. I think
what's more embarrassing is being in a mass where you prayed for Jon Bon Jovi and weren't aware of it.
That's right. That's crazy cool.
But the other cool thing that happened in that mass, so all while this is going on, I guess I was thrown off by Jon Bon Jovi, but it was just me, my wife, and the 3-year-old, and we're walking up to communion. And so like when we're walking up, like I'm holding the baby, and then I set her down to walk. And so we're walking up into the lines. And so it's baby, and then me, and then wife. And so it was just this interesting moment of like seeing how kids learn Catholicism literally just by watching and doing what everybody else does. Like that's how That's how we were all taught Catholicism, right? So she's walks up in the line, and it's so cute to watch her like walk and try to figure out when to stop. Like she doesn't realize like the pace that the person in front of her is walking. So she keeps walking into them. And then we get to the communion line. I guess she had been looking around, and of course, for the first time, this is what she does. She puts her hands up like she's going to receive. She has her hands all the way up, like this little 3-year-old reached her hands all the way up, reaching out for Jesus. And the priest is just smiling because he knows that she's way too young. But I'm like, pushing her hands down. But it was just this cute moment of like, man, this kid wants Jesus probably more than I do at this moment. And that was something I had to sit with. But I wanted to pray about it. But Jon Bon Jovi kept coming into my head. And my wife kept praying with living on a prayer. That's what she told me after.
Oh, my goodness. That's great.
It was just super cute though to see. I mean, like, we hear the whole thing, like being like a child, and like, everybody was talking about, oh yeah, after COVID, we're all going to miss the Eucharist. And I've shared on the show before, like, I just didn't have that desire, even though I wanted it. And I guess I'm just not as good of a Catholic, but it was really sweet to see my daughter, reaching out for it. And I was like, man, maybe I should do that a little more.
Yeah, you should. That is adorable. Also, I believe we should restore it and give all the sacraments of initiation at baptism so that your daughter could receive communion. But that's another day.
I think all masses should be for Jon Bon Jovi until he returns to the Catholic Church.
Dude, imagine. We should start doing that. It works. We're like, all right, who's next? Eminem.
Well, we talked about New Year's a few years ago. My New Year's resolution was to pray for Kendrick Lamar every time he said, ain't nobody praying for me. And his life didn't change when I prayed for him every day for a year. So
you don't know that yet.
Not yet. You're right. Well, what I do know now is that this segment is over. And I think I'm glad because, boy, we went everywhere during this segment. It's only been 18 minutes. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Not only are there full-length shows of this show that you are watching / listening to over on YouTube, but there's also all other kind of videos as well. Just some random stuff that's on my mind that's only on YouTube. But also, I just did a talk for the Emmanuel Conference celebrating this Christmas and New Year's season. It is over on YouTube right now. It's all about essentially the gifts that we received and how we're supposed to share those and how that relates to the greatest gift God has given us. So go check that out, youtube.com/Forte Catholic. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and check out the video from the Emmanuel Conference. Enjoy. Welcome back to Forte Catholic. I'm Taylor Schroll. That's still Jonathan Blevins. And no one still wants to look at you. So I have this idea actually from you. We're both big sports fans. We've talked about sports a lot on the show. And a big thing that sports fans do, and a lot of sports like commentators. So like I listen to Colin Cowherd. You don't like him, but that's fine. We disagree on just about everything apparently on the internet these days. But one of the things that you were doing is you started doing like the power rankings of like, essentially it's like what is the best team today? Who has had the best season to date? Who do you think is the most powerful team today? Not who's going to win the Super Bowl, not who's the best team ever, not who's like, like here we are going into week 17. There's a lot of playoff implications for the last week of the NFL season. And like, so you could have it in your power rankings. You could have one team that you think is better right now, but that you don't necessarily think will win the Super Bowl. So obviously neither of us have the Houston Texans or the Detroit Lions on our top 5 power rankings for the NFL. But they're still our favorite team. So this is what we wanted to do was to do our Saint power rankings for the first week of January of 2021. And so again, this isn't like our favorite Saints because like my favorite team's the Texans, your favorite team's Detroit. That doesn't mean they're in the power rankings, but who is the most popular? Who do you think is the most powerful right now? Who do you think we need the most of these Saints right here? Because like, obviously, like, you would be like, oh, Mary, Queen of Heaven, like obviously like all time best Saint, but who's the most prominent right now? So John and I have compiled a list. We've spent hours and hours of calculations on this. And by that, I mean, we both took about 5 minutes to compile lists. And I would imagine our list has a couple together. And I think I have some. Yeah, I think so. And I think we have some that are very unique to ourselves as well. So John, you understand the rules of the game. Have I explained it well enough to our audience?
I think you have 100%. And you also have explained it well to me because I have changed mine since you started talking.
Good.
So I'm very excited.
Well, good. So why don't you start with your number? We're going to count down from 5 to 1, and we're going to go back. You're going to do your 5th one. I'll do my 5th one. So you go first.
Okay, number 5. Dun, 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 dun. I was waiting for your reaction. You did not like that. That's fine.
I was just, like, you were literally doing a waiting sound effect, and I was waiting. I was doing what your mouth told me to.
Saint Theresa of Calcutta coming in at number 5.
Why is she so prominent in January of 2021?
Well, I do think she's just amazing, and there's been some people out there the last few years kind of trying to discount her or disprove that she was a good person, all kinds of stuff, and I hate to see that. But she was unbelievable, had a big impact in my life, and one of the things that she did was take care of some of the sickest people in the world, and we're going through a pandemic, and people are scared, and nurses need prayers, and doctors need prayers, and health workers, and we need the courage that Saint Theresa of Calcutta had to go do what she did. And really, she gave her life essentially. I'm surprised that she lived as long as she did with what she was doing. So Saint Theresa of Calcutta, number 5.
That's a really good one. Because I thought a lot about like New Year's and COVID connections and that sort of thing. So your first one has a big COVID connection of like working with the sick and how, she could have gotten sick too, but she did it anyway. And she was serving the poor. I think she's also good for power rankings because she's like popular outside of the church too. Like people are like, oh, I'm no Mother Teresa after they get all their 1,000 Christmas presents and that sort of thing. So you understand the game well, Jon, and maybe, just maybe, we'll prove that you're not dumb today.
Thank you. Let's do it.
For me, number 5 is John the Baptist. And I think this is one of those ones where like he's not super popular throughout the year, but we just came out of Advent, and Advent is kind of his season, waiting and preparing for the Lord, right? For his coming. But I think the reason, so I think he would have been number 2, like 3 weeks ago, but he's coming down a little bit to number 5. Okay. But I think the thing that's really interesting is, his whole thing was, he must increase, I must decrease, right? So we're going into New Year's. And you are saying that you want to decrease your weight, and we both made that commitment in 2020. You have done it, and I have only increased. So you have been the perfect John the Baptist, saying he must increase, I must decrease. You've done that very well, and I'm proud.
Thank you. You must eat more locusts and honey, my friend.
Maybe that's what it was. What was his version? It's not Exodus 90. It's like Holy Land forever. Just eat locusts and honey and a sweatshirt. But also just the whole thing that like Christmas Day, December 25th, is picked partly because of him. Like the Christmas celebration we just have, and we're still celebrating, is partly because of him, because the whole, like, it's Christmas is the shortest day of the year, because like that's when the light starts to come into the world and every day gets brighter and brighter and brighter. And then 6 months later, it's John the Baptist feast day, when it's the longest and brightest day of the year. And then it starts to decrease from there, so playing on that, he must increase, I must decrease. So yeah, that's why John the Baptist comes in at my number 5.
I love it. All right, number 4 for me.
Yep.
Saint Jose Sanchez del Rio.
I've never heard of that person.
Yes, you have. Viva Cristo Rey.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Everyone who's ever gone to any Catholic event in the last 10 years knows who that is.
I've never heard the full name. Say it again.
Saint Jose Sanchez del Rio. I think there's actually a Luis.
Oh, okay. Yeah. If you would have stopped at Jose Sanchez, I would have had it.
Yeah, there you go. I love him. I love him to death. He's amazing. Martyr, young boy who gave his life and really just like converted tons of people with his story, including, now. So anyway, why he was just, again, a young kid who joined the Cristeros movement. I'm just gonna look this all up. I don't want to take too much time on this, but what I loved about him is that he had courage in a crazy, scary time in Mexico where being Catholic was outlawed and they were killing Catholics and killing priests. And here's this young kid who decides to join the movement and help and treat people and pray. And I feel like right now we're going through, I don't know, this crazy stuff. I tweeted something recently that we live in a culture of death. And you should have seen like the way that people just assume and generalize Catholics. Like, oh, you guys, all Catholics only care about babies until they're born and then they hate them. And I'm just like, man, you really believe that? Like, it's crazy. And we need the courage of Saint Jose Sanchez del Rio to continue to fight for the truth and the goodness that is the church.
It's a really good one. Yeah, I saw that you lost followers, but you still have plenty more than me, so you're doing.
Then I
something
gained like 400 more because one priest retweeted and was like, "Follow him."
right. That's
It's such a
funny.
weird world, man.
He gives and takes away. Blessed be the
That's
name
right.
of the Lord. He took away your followers that weren't as good and gave you better ones, just like he did.
And then
for
he'll
Job.
take those ones away when they see how much I tweet about football on Sundays.
Yeah, there you go. For me, the next one is Saint Michael, who all time might be my number one, but power rankings currently. The reason for Saint Michael is spiritual warfare. I think a lot of people are just struggling with their spiritual life and struggling with like, oh, you know, the demon of COVID and the demon of all the struggles and the demons of being stuck at home alone and your whole life falling apart. I just think a lot of us are all over the place spiritually. And the Saint Michael prayer is a prayer that I have said every night that I've before I go to bed since I was like 16 in high school. So if you don't have the Saint Michael prayer anywhere, I would just Google it. Say it whenever you're struggling. Say it when you're struggling with your spiritual life, and I think it'll be really helpful for this time.
Cast into hell, or what's the other one?
Thrust. I like thrust a lot.
Yeah, there you go. Awesome. I love that one. Saint Michael's the man. Number 3.
Yep.
Oh, nope. Hold on. I changed this one. I was going to say Saint Theresa of Lisieux. I love her a ton. I'm changing it though. Changing it to Carlo. I don't know how to say his last name. Acutis.
A cutie. He's a cutie.
Is it a cutie?
No, I'm kidding.
Catholic teenager. They're calling him maybe the first millennial saint. Died of leukemia in 2006. And he's been dubbed already kind of the patron saint of the internet. And so I think given everything that's happened, not just like with COVID, but everyone's home on the internet all the time, especially young people, Generation Z, we need a good model of how we can be Catholic and holy still online and be a presence online and lead people closer to Christ and really like have good boundaries and all that kind of stuff to use internet for good and, you know, still spend time with family and go to mass and celebrate the sacraments. So love it. First millennial saint coming at you soon.
He's a good one. I like that a non-saint made it into your saint power rankings, but I'll accept it.
2 of them actually.
Oh, really? Nice. Number 3 for me is Saint Arnold, the patron saint of alcohol and brewers, because
Get out.
That has helped us a lot through this past year. I think Saint Arnold is doing great. He also, I learned that he started brewing beer because the water wasn't safe to drink. And those who have been listening to the show for the last few months know that my hometown had like brain amoebas in the water, and we could not drink the water. So I think St. Arnold is a perfect one for this situation because he literally brewed beer because the water wasn't safe, and they just had a sustaining life based on beer. So yeah, that is mine because alcohol has been very helpful for us Catholics, and I think the rest of the world over these last 18 years since the pandemic started.
Yeah, how great would it be for us to live in a situation where it was safer to drink beer? No, just me. Okay,
yeah, there you go. I think I just said it already is, but whatever.
Oh, perfect. All right, I'm on number 2. For me, number 2 is St. Thomas Aquinas. And I love him. He's one of my all-time favorite saints. He's usually up there on number 1 with me. St. Francis of Assisi is as well, but I left him out of the top 5. But I think we need Aquinas. I think we need people to think the way he thought and to read more of his stuff, not just like the world, but particularly people in the church. I love Thomas Aquinas. I think leaders in the church, priests, every time I meet a priest who's like, can't stand Aquinas, I'm like, okay, I don't trust this guy. St. Thomas Aquinas, we need him. We need good thinkers still in the church. And he has a lot of gold nuggets and wisdom in there.
So, John, I think this pick, all your other picks were tremendous. I think this pick might be like when you say the Lions are going to the Super Bowl this year. I don't think it's a power ranking. I think it's a wishful thinking.
Why?
Because I think people should be reading Thomas Aquinas. Are they though? Like, are people?
No, but they should be. That's why we need them. We need people. I can't tell you how many priests I meet recently who are just like, oh, Aquinas. I'm like, what? What have you done?
I think that proves the point that he's not in the power rankings currently, even though we would like him to be in the future.
Fine. Call it my Lions pick, if you will, but he stays at number 2.
Okay, fine. Your Lions version pick. Number 2 for me is Mama Mary. And I think especially around this time of year, obviously we just celebrated Christmas and she was heavily involved in that celebration. Also, she just had a feast day that was, in normal years is everyone's obligated to go, but didn't. So,
Yeah.
it's a big feast day for her. She gets New Year's. Like, that's pretty cool for her. But yeah, I mean, she has just been in nativity scenes. She's been seen holding baby Jesus. She is completely tied, obviously, to Jesus, but specifically to this time of Jesus being a baby. And I think the other added kicker is that we've all been stay-at-home parents for the last 9 months. And that was Mary's job. Like, her job was to take care of the baby Jesus. So whatever you're, I know no one else has been in this situation. No one else has been frustrated with their kids in the last 10 months. I know that for sure. But if you ever have that urge come up just once in the next few months, pray to Mama Mary, because she was a stay-at-home mom who had to worry about protecting her perfect child from the world. So that's my number 2.
I love it. And I said before, I'm not picking Mary in my top 5 because to me, it's just a no-brainer. So it's fine that you put her at number 2 and your reasoning for it is beautiful. But she's not in mine, and she would have been. I don't think we have any similarities. My number 1, you're going to think is a homer pick, but it's not. It is also not a saint yet, but Blessed Chiara Badano, who my daughter is named after.
You don't understand power rankings. I thought you understood power rankings with your 3rd, 4th, and 5th pick.
Listen, it makes sense. It makes sense. She was very sick and died, and what she lived her life with such joy in the middle of going through some horrible stuff. And I feel like we need more of that. And me in particular, I'm usually a really joyful person, pretty real, very optimistic. And this year, I mean, COVID has, impacted everybody, but it's taken away a little bit of my optimism. I'm like, hey, 2021 is probably going to be worse than 2020. That is something I've never said in my whole life, ever. This might be worse than what just happened. And I don't know. I stand by that, but I do think I personally need more of the courage and the joy that she had when she was suffering. Her hair was falling out every single time that she felt pain. She would just say, "For you, Jesus, for you, Jesus," and cared more about her.
I was balding too.
She cared more about her parents' marriage than she did her own life. I mean, she's just an amazing person, and we need more joy like that, especially in what seems like a joyless time.
Okay, you made the pick make sense. Not completely for power rankings. It's a wishful thinking one, but for those that don't know, that is the name of John's newest baby in the house. So little bit of a homer pick, but I'm not mad at you for being a homer. You can pick your kid, that's fine. But again, it's wishful thinking, I think, instead of
that's fine.
Power rankings. That's fine. For me, number 1, Saint Joseph. No one has talked about this man ever for more than a week. Usually he gets a week at Christmas time, but now we've got a whole year for him. It's only beginning. It's the strongest he's ever been. It's the most powerful and strong he's ever been in the power rankings. And I think he's ever going to be. This man who literally said nothing in the Gospels got a whole year dedicated to him. So the rest of the show is just going to be me and John being quiet for the next 20 minutes. Dude,
how cool is it that he took 2 really cool naps that never said a word? I mean, that is me. I want to be like him.
John, you took a nap today. You texted me. We're recording at 11:30 and in the morning, and you texted me. I was like, hey, we're going to do Saint Power rankings about 2-3 hours before the show. And you're like, cool. I'm about to take a nap. I'm like, John, everyone just woke up. What are you doing taking a nap?
I was up early with the baby, Taylor.
You're with Saint Chiara. Good
That's
job.
right. I'm
very proud of you. So there are our Saint Power rankings, guys. If you have your own at home, you can play along. Give us your 5 Saints Power rankings, not wishful thinking like someone else on this show, but your power rankings. Rank them 5 through 1. You can tag us in social media at Taylor Schroll, at Forte Catholic on the social media, at Bearded Blevins on the social media. Let us know whose list you think is stronger and show us your list. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Do know real quick.
Okay.
You do know that not one lady. I know a lot of ladies love the podcast. Not one lady's going to think that you won, because I had 3. Count them 3. Female saints in my top 5, and you had 1, and it was Mother Mary.
I had St. Arnold's, and all those women have been drinking wine for the last 10 minutes. They're with me. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Stay connected with Forte Catholic throughout the week on social media. We got a Facebook page at Forte Catholic. We've got Instagram at Taylor Schroll, SCHROLL. Also Taylor Schroll on Twitter, and at Forte Catholic on Twitter. as well. It's essentially like a lot of the things that I workshop for the show goes out through social media, stuff that, we'll talk about. It's like, hey, you should see this. We'll share clips, all kind of stuff over there. So go give those things a follow. We'd love to get to know you and get to meet you and stay connected with you, other than just once a week for a little less than an hour like you give Jesus on Sundays. Welcome back to Forte Catholic. I am Taylor Schroll, and that is Jonathan Bearded, Beloved, Bloated Blevins.
Beloved and bloated in the same sentence? How dare you? I'm about to meal prep.
Well, I'm proud of you. So
thank you.
It is
so is
year.
Your what?
No. What y'all don't know is this whole recording has been riddled with my new camera that I spent way too much money on not working, so we had to switch to the webcam in the middle of this recording. So we've already recorded this, and John was trying to play it off like we hadn't and repeat every word that he said verbatim from the previous recording. So that's just a sneak behind. I started this show off in a good mood, and now I'm not.
You still look great.
Well, thank you. You're beautiful and bloated. So new year means not new us, because we're the same old people that are sad about how things have been going and nothing is changing. But it does mean word of the year generator from our friend Jen Fulwiler. If you don't know who Jen is, then where have you been? Like, she's a TikTok sensation now. She used to be a Catholic radio show host for years over at SiriusXM. She quit that to pursue comedy full time. Her comedy special, if y'all have been watching or listening to the show, have heard me talk about it in the commercials over the last few weeks. So funny. Go watch it. You can watch it for free on Amazon Prime. Jen Fulwiler, The Naughty Corner. It is so very funny. Well, she does this thing every year called the Word of the Year Generator. And she is adamant that it means that, like, this is the word that's going to define your next year. Christians, sit with it, pray with it. If you're not Christian, I don't know, meditate on it and put it on your mirror. Like, I don't know what they do. But for us, it's like, this is going to be your word of the year. So John and I are going to look up our word of the year here live on the air and reveal those here to you. But also, before we do that, John had the brilliant idea to go back and look back at what our previous years were. John had a brilliant bloated idea to go back over the last and look at our previous years. What did you find in your sleuthing through your social media?
So I did not, in all transparency, last year, I think I did it 10 times to try to find a word as funny as the one I got in 2018. In 2018, my word of the year was fertility. And I actually tweeted it at Jen, and she was like, uh-oh. And for me, and here's the thing, at the end of the year, I didn't like stop and think about why that was my word, because it could have been. My wife and I did not have a baby that year, but we had one the next year. So I don't know. Maybe there was maybe a friend of ours. Maybe I prayed for a friend of ours. Like, who knows? I'm sure the word made sense because Jen makes no mistakes.
Without getting too involved in your personal life, was the baby you had the next year conceived in that year?
No.
Okay.
Born in 2020. So no. So So again, I forget. I'm sure I was praying for people who were having a hard time conceiving, and then they did. So who knows? I don't know. But that was my word, fertility, and it was pretty funny a couple years ago. And we'll see. I'm excited to see what it is today.
I think fertility was heavily weighted that year because a lot of people got it and a lot of people got pregnant. And that's one of those, like, is this Jen being a genie and granting wishes? Is this her being someone who can see the future? Or is this just Jen saying there should be more babies and giving everyone the word fertility in hopes that we'll have more babies?
Yeah, I mean, really, it's just a brilliant plan by her.
So I did not get the word fertility. I just looked at this, and you got my reaction when I saw it, the one that I did last year.
Yeah, what was it?
I maniacally laughed, and you asked what it was, and I said, I'll tell you on the air.
Tell me!
The word that I got for 2020 was relax.
Wow, yeah, how'd you do with that?
It was the least relaxing year of my entire life, and I blame Jen Fulwiler for this. She has already claimed on her podcast that she is the cause of everything bad that happened in 2020, and now I believe her because she mocked me with the word relax on January 1st, 2020, and it was not a relaxing year.
To be fair, like, you probably did spend more time this year on a couch than any other year of your life.
Yeah, stressing about how to feed my kids in the other room.
You just needed to relax, man. Just listen to her.
Yeah, just relax. They'll get fed somehow. Jen.
This is awesome.
Okay, so let's look at let's pull up who wants. You want me to go first, or you want to go first for your word this year?
What, you want me to go first?
I literally just asked you that question.
I was pulling it up.
Okay, I'll go first then.
Okay.
I have clicked the button and I have randomly generated the word inhale, which is very similar to the word relax.
It is.
But also, like, there's a couple things here. I have asthma. So is this like I have problems inhaling and keeping oxygen in? So I have to use an inhaler like before I go work out. And sometimes, like, the whole reason I have a co-host, I don't know if you knew this, was because I can't talk for an hour straight. I need to stop talking and breathe. So like while you're talking, I'm away from the mic going.
Wait, seriously?
Not. I mean, I'm embellishing a little bit, but yes,
I had no idea.
I tried to do the show by myself and just talk for an hour, and I was like, I need to breathe every now and then.
Wait, I wonder if that's how the Need to Breathe band came up with their name.
100%. 3 of the 4 have asthma. 2 of them are brothers. They were born.
I didn't know that. That's amazing.
They were twins, separated at birth.
That is not true.
None of it was true. I made
that. Oh, that would have been so sick if that was all true. I was like hoping it was true. I was like, how does Taylor know this? That's great.
I have seen them in concert, and their harmonies are so amazing that I think they probably were conjoined. But fact check that later.
Could be a helium joke that Jen's trying to play on you.
Woohoo!
That was really good.
Thank you. But also I think it's interesting because it's like, does she want me to die? Because if all I do is inhale and never exhale, that just means I held my breath until I passed out.
What if it's a reminder that you need to bring your inhaler with you everywhere you go, just in case? And this year you'll have a situation where you're very scared, but you have your inhaler because of Jen and she saves your life.
I always have my inhaler with me.
Okay. Well, now you certainly will.
It's in my backpack and there's one in my car.
You're 37. How do you have a backpack?
I'm 31. We all know that I'm a baby compared to you, old man. And I used to do this thing called traveling a lot, Jonathan.
I don't use backpacks, bro. I have a little Twitch bag.
Dude, it's so cool, man. Like, it's a suitcase, like, in the backpack as one. You can't break into it. You can lock it up. Like, it's like a suitcase and a backpack. It's perfect because my other carry-on is my guitar. So I had to have.
Wait, is it a backpack or a backpack?
It's a big bag, but I can put it on my back. So there's a compartment in here to put my clothes, and I can put my computer in here.
Yeah, but I always get this wrong. It's called a backpack or a backpack? I always call it a bagpack.
It's a backpack. It's a pack for your back.
It's a bag. You put a wow. Okay, backpack.
Your takes have never been wrong. I'm Jon Blevins.
That's not a take.
Okay, let's see what your word is.
Kiss. Kiss is my word.
Kiss?
Why did I get fertility and then kiss?
Well, yeah, those are in the opposite order.
Yeah. Why is that my word?
Because she has a lot of female followers. No, John, I fixed it. Look at me. I need you to look at me for this. It's Kiss, but like this. Yeah.
Okay.
Like the band. Kiss. Like you're going to rock out in 2021. You're going to go a little crazy. You might paint your face white and black. Who knows?
I'm mad. Kiss is my word.
Why do you think your word is kiss? Do you? We talked about your wife earlier. Like, do you need to kiss your wife more often?
Probably.
Well, there you go. There's your New Year's resolution. Kiss your wife more often than you did last year.
I guess. I was kind of hoping for something like, what word?
Like kiss the band and how awesome that is?
No, like food.
Food. That's the word you tried to avoid last year.
It is. I want more good food.
So you're not happy about your. Well, here's the thing, John. You're not happy about your word, and you're the one that said 2021 was going to be worse than this past year. This is your fault.
See, and it's weird that yours is inhale and mine's kiss.
Don't do those at the same time.
That's weird. What is she saying?
I don't know, Jen. We're going to need your input on this because she did say on her podcast recently that like she this year is claiming that she is the only one that can like truly tell you what your word means. So we're going to have to ask her.
Oh, wait, are you dead serious?
Yeah. So we're going to have to figure it out. Like she was tired of people telling her what their word meant. So she's finally just put her foot down and she's going to have to tell you.
What, how much time do we have left on this segment?
9 minutes. You want to call her?
She's texting me right now.
Is she really?
I just said, what? My word is kiss. Why? She says, I am so sorry in all caps.
That's awesome. That's so funny. Oh, good old Jen. So
amazing.
So you don't see, like, here's the thing though. we looked back, and my word, I probably should have relaxed more this past year because I didn't relax at all. When we look back at this a year from now on the New Year's 2022 show, are you going to look back at Kiss fondly, or are you still going to be mad?
I don't know. I'm sure I'll find that it was great. Jody wanted to do this thing that we read once that was like, you should kiss for 30 seconds every day. And that just seems so weird. I don't know. I'm not against kissing. Kissing's fine. So I'm sure that if I listen to the word of the year at the end of the year, I'll be like, oh, that was great. I'm just so much closer to my wife.
I hope so. Kissing for 30 seconds is a long time, and we can't go down that road because I was silent for a while because I had a lot of things that I was trying to think if I could say and I can't. So we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on. Moving on. So final thing for today. I was at Christmas Mass. You were at Christmas Mass and
Christmas Eve, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that me too. So you recall the first reading?
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. Do you recall the gospel that day?
Wasn't it? Yeah, it was the hold on. It was the census.
Yeah, so and so begat so and so who begat so and so. A lot of fertility in that gospel.
Tons
about a baby being born and lots of other babies being born. And I was thinking about it, and like, here's the thing. And I don't know how I was supposed to think about this, but like, they were like, okay, from Abraham to David, we're 14 generations, and then from David to Jesus, we're 14 generations. And I was like, and like, the cool thing is, like, there's so many people like in that lineage that were great people and terrible people and people with past that got, restored in their relationship with God. Like, so many cool stories there, but it's like, it's almost too perfect that I was thinking, like, who got edited out? Like, there had to be a generation where it was like the guy writing the gospel was like, really, there were 15 that second time, but that guy was boring and we didn't like him, and he was a stepdad, so we kind of edited him out a little bit. That was my thought during Christmas Eve Mass during the gospel.
Wait, that you had that thought during Mass?
100%. That's what I think about during church.
Wow.
And I'm also wondering why 5 rocks are inside of 2 fish.
I think that at that point during Mass, literally, I was trying to find out why my 4-year-old was sprinting across the pew.
See, I'm still paying attention. I'm having ideas that I probably shouldn't be having, but I'm still paying attention.
At least you paid attention. I don't think I did. Our kid, I don't know about what you guys have done with your kids, but we have not been able to go to Mass as a family every single Sunday during the pandemic. Watched a lot of it on TV, that kind of stuff. It's been a weird year. My kids are like not in church shape. It's been a great year.
We're 2 days in.
Yeah, my kids are not in church shape. They are my 4-year-old Zachary, it literally is jumping up and down the entire time every time we take him to church now. And I'm like, okay, we got to get back into this routine.
Well, the good news is, John, is that your kids have the same practice, not going to church, but they have the same practice that I do. Well, for you, it's once a month. For me, it's once a week. They need to go into another room and be quiet for a little over an hour so we can record this show. So they've got some practice being quiet for an hour.
That's true. That is true.
But the other thing that I was thinking of, like, this is the other thing that popped into my head while I'm hearing that. Again, probably not what I should be thinking about at Christmas Eve Mass, but you know how, like, there's a lot of, like, I love Star Wars and I love all the, like, side stuff around Star Wars, the books, the TV shows, all that kind of stuff. Like, everybody's into Mandalorian now, but, like, I was watching the cartoons before everybody thought Mando was cool. And there's a lot of
Star Wars hipster.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of Star Wars people. There's a lot of Star Wars people that I think that are hipsters or about it, that are like, oh, why are we still on the Skywalker story? Why are we still? Why always have to bring back Skywalker, or bring back Luke, or bring back Palpatine? Why do we have to keep bringing back these people? I thought about those people during the gospel because all we did we have this new character, Jesus. Why does he have to be connected to David? Why does he have to be connected to Abraham? Why does he have to be connected to all of our heroes in the Old Testament? And all I thought about was like, because it's great. It's great storytelling in Star Wars, and it's great storytelling in the greatest story of all time in Jesus. So that's all I could think about during the gospel. Was there was probably a 15th dude that got edited out, and people that hate on Star Wars for being the Skywalker saga need to leave Jesus alone.
I love that those are the two things you thought of literally during the Christmas Eve Mass.
Merry Christmas.
I love the way your brain works.
Thank you. I'm very proud. I had one serious thought during that mass. Are you ready? This came from the homily. I was paying attention during the homily.
Okay.
And I think it's a perfect way to end last year and move into this new year, where like they were saying that Jesus came, like God came to earth at the incarnation at Christmas to restore honor and glory to Israel. And it's one of those things that's like, have I heard this before? And two, if I have, like, I've never really thought about it. Like, because Israel like was a nation that God lived within and resided in and led, and they kept walking away. And that's the story of the Old Testament, is them messing up, them coming back, but never really coming back to fully how they were. And I was thinking like what God did that first time, like to restore honor and glory to his people. It's like, that's what Christmas is. Like that's what that celebration is. It's like he is coming to restore honor and glory to us. I think a lot of us probably lost some of our honor, and I think everybody lost some glory during the last year when things were struggling. And like what was interesting for me as I was thinking about is like, what was the glory of Israel? It wasn't Israel. It was God residing in them and God being part of that nation, And so I was like, well, that's if the restored glory and the restored honor, that's when Jesus comes, when God comes back into that nation. So I was just thinking about that. Like that was like the serious thought that I had here in this Christmas season. I think it's a good one for the new year as well. It's like, we need our glory and honor restored. It was a rough year. The thing that's going to do that is God coming back into the picture. So that was my serious thought from Christmas and New Year's.
I love that. And that's kind of original. I mean, like, that's not like the stereotypical one. For me, it was the stereotypical message of like, Jesus entered into our messy world in a very messy way, and he will continue to enter into my mess. It was like the 80th time I've needed to hear that in the last 10 years, but needed to hear it nonetheless.
For sure. Well, there it is. Our lives are still messy. Jonathan's still bloated, and we'll be back next week.
And I'll be less bloated.
Thanks so much for listening to today's show. I hope that you enjoyed it, because we almost enjoyed recording it. It was fun when we were actually doing the recording. All the stuff in between, not so fun. So I hope it was an enjoyable experience for you guys. Thanks so much. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Like the video. Comment with how awesome we are. That would be tremendous. And I will love you until the day that I die, which will probably be soon. So not great of a promise. Bye.